Hello viewers, welcome to Silent Conversations with Miss Nkatha. I am your host Miss Nkatha, and as promised, we are bringing you guests and conversations for change. Those things that people would rather not talk about, but you know what, are affecting people silently. So here we break the silence, and today I'm so excited to be joined by a lady who runs the only female rehab in Kenya.
Thank you for having me this afternoon at the Silent Conversations. It's indeed my pleasure and honor to sit with you this afternoon and really to sit here, talk about issues that affect women, issues about addiction, issues about mental health, issues about traumatic experiences, any other challenges that women are going through in the society. We're also glad and very grateful to God for giving us an opportunity to be able to offer service at the Empower Her Recovery Center. And as you clearly stated, it's the only female rehab center, a center that is only caters for women who are going through issues to do with addiction, both to alcohol and other drugs, and may also have other mental health illnesses. So my name is Esther Mucara. My background is in nursing. I'm a mental health nurse, but on top of that, I've also done counseling and done addiction counseling also as a subspecialty. More importantly, I do a lot of mental health advocacy, and now we are more focused to talking about issues with women because we believe it's a sector that really needs to be focused on. It's a center that needs to be given the limelight. But so because when we empower a woman in the society, when a woman recovers, they are not only recovering for themselves, they are recovering for their family, they are recovering for their small village where they come from, for their community, and even for the whole country. Women are people who are caregivers. And so when they are lost in the world of addiction and mental health, then a big part of it is lost, and many generations suffer after that. So when we care for a woman, we are caring for many other generations to come. Catering for women is something that gives me a lot of joy. It's something that gives me a lot of hope, knowing that when this woman recovers, because also women are very resilient, and when they realize where there is an issue, where the problem is, they are able to get it on and move on very fast with it. So really, I'm very happy to be here, and thank you also for hosting us and for giving us this opportunity to talk about women in recovery.
I've seen you at, we met at APRA.
Yes.
Where you sit in as the secretary?
Yes.
You know, APRA is the Association for Prevention and Recovery Association of Kenya, which is an umbrella of all rehabs. And you are secretary.
Yes,
I think we've engaged in that capacity.
Yes. I'm serving my second term in the board. This time as the secretary. And as you said, APRA brings together professionals in the addiction center, not just rehab owners. We bring people who are doing treatment, that is the people in the rehab sector. We bring people who are doing prevention as outpatient clinics or in schools or other sectors. We also bring in academias, people who are running colleges or universities that are talking about addiction. We also work with researchers. And also work with people in recovery. Together then we are able to sit on the table and advocate for evidence-based treatment, also blend in issues of theory, practice, knowledge, attitudes, educate the society, create awareness, but also from a strong movement that speaks for people in addiction.
That's important. Now, what really captured my attention was the fact that when you look at statistics, women are also struggling with substance use disorders, and it is a huge percentage. And we're talking about hundreds of thousands if we're to go by the NACADA report of 2020. But now here you're saying the only female rehab. Is it that there are few women reaching out for treatment? I understand a woman will easily look for treatment or recovery solutions for a loved one, say a son, a husband, a brother, but they themselves are hesitant to go to rehab because of a certain stigma that how is it that you are drinking or how are you using a substance, to a point where you're sick yet you're a mother, yet you should be a caregiver. I mean, the only female, is it because of stigma or is it because women don't go for treatment? What can you say about that?
Well, there are many ways to look at that. But as you said, yes, stigma is one of the bigger issues because we are living in a society where, you know, women are not expected to be drinking in the first place, leave alone getting addicted to alcohol.
Yeah.
And so by the time women are coming to seek treatment, really it takes a very tall order. Remember that also treatment and rehabilitation, it is not a cheap affair. And you will need someone to support you to come to the rehab. So most of the time, the people who would be supporting them to come to the rehab or offer the resources are the same people who are also shunning them and not giving them that helping hand so that they may get the treatment that they need. So even the people who also need to give them that help that they need to come to the rehab or seek treatment and rehabilitation would take advantage of them that in ways that will be traumatic, in ways that will bring shame and guilt into the same women. So it becomes very difficult for a woman to ask for help in the first place, and also to ask for help for treatment and rehabilitation, because a lot of people will look at you and think, really, do you have a problem? Or is it something that you have brought onto yourself? Why can't you just keep away the bottle? Why can't you stop smoking? Why can't you stop doing these and things? You know, women will be looked more on the moral end, like they are doing something immoral, like they have gone out of the way. So most of the time, the treatment or the help that they will need will be given in different ways. But really, when you treat a woman, as I said before, they embrace that help and empower her. We're just not doing treatment and rehabilitation. We are empowering women to create self-awareness, to know what are these issues that you're talking about. We're also doing a gender-specific approach into treatment, really looking at what is affecting these women. Because women go through a lot of traumatic experiences, gender-based violence, be it sexual, be it physical, emotional. Women are also, when it comes to finances, they are on the tail end. And so the program that you are running, you will not only get sober, but you'll also be empowered in a way that you'll have a different view of life, where you will instill self-confidence where it has been lost, where you'll heal from your traumatic experiences, where will bolden your view so that when you come back out in the society, then you are able to stand on your 2 feet, regain your family if it has been lost, regain your career, regain your businesses, regain your spirituality, which is very important, and things like that.
So what I'm hearing you say is the people who have come through your center is, yes, they came in because of a substance use disorder or a mental health, but it is linked to something else, because I keep hearing gender-based violence, maybe SA, which is, or trauma. Is that the case?
For some of them, because you see also we are receiving a different age range. You are receiving people who are very young, but also you are receiving people in their midlife, in their 40s, but also people who are retirees.
So they're very young, they're coming in, and what is their issue?
So today we are living in a society where, a child may not be parented in the right way, and I'm using that word in a very
diplomatic. You don't use tough words.
Yes. But maybe this child has grown up in a dysfunctional family, or maybe they have been exposed to such substances in a younger age. And remember, the brain, by the time it fully develops, is at 24 years. So this person started using substances when they are younger. So the addiction affects them quite early. But even with that, the other vices that come when you start drinking early, you will get yourself, or you might find yourself in the wrong groups. So, or at home, you know, it may bring a strain into your parents, because the mother will be saying you're the one who is not taking care of your daughter, and the father is also saying you're the one who is not disciplining your daughter. So it also may bring a strain into the family. So these younger children, sometimes they may just be looking for a direction, someone to affirm them, someone to redirect them, and also give them certain skills that will help them to really see where they are at life, and they're able to move on. So there's a lot of also mentoring and coaching on top of the counseling that is we really give.
What's the youngest age you have received?
Legally, we're supposed to admit people of age, 18 years and above. So from 20 years, 19 years, we are receiving some of these children.
And you mentioned there's also the elderly who are coming to the center in their 60s, in their 40s.
Yes.
And just explain that, because I'm imagining someone who is retired coming to seek for treatment, which is something that is happening now but is almost unheard of. Yeah, because they're in their sunset years, but they have a substance use disorder, and then they find themselves in treatment, and many people assume they should be enjoying their time doing something else, but now they find themselves in the center. The people who you have encountered, is it something that they had struggled with for decades, or is it something
so
they've been brought in by their children?
Exactly that. So we're also dealing with a group of children of alcoholic moms. And when someone is engaged at work, then there's what we call functional alcoholics. So they're able to, you know, take their drink and go on with their work if they're going to the office and things like that. And maybe even in a civil service or a parastatal, they are pushing the day so that you're able to get into your retirement age. But with that, you might find that also in our sunset years, all around that time, people are also going through so much losses. They may going so much losses. You may also have regrets about life and met expectations, and that is why sometimes even in the workplaces we're insisting that people need to have very good retirement programs, because maybe this person may be expected to, by the time I'm retiring, I'm doing this. It's just not their own personal experiences. I mean, losses. It could be, you know, maybe your children has also gone wayward. Maybe you're getting a divorce at that time. Maybe you experience losses from your parents. You're losing property. You don't know what to do with yourself post-retirement, because all you've known for the last 40 years since you started working is 8 to 5 job. You're being called Madam So-and-so if you're a teacher. You're being given the honors at the office, but when you come home and you have
nothing to do.
Sometimes it could also be undealt issues. Maybe you went through a divorce earlier and then you don't get time because maybe you compensated it by overworking or joining a church group or joining something. So by the time you get to a place now, you still have some issues, some traumatic issues that you didn't deal with around that time, and when they blow up in a way that is manifesting as you drinking too much and things like that. Stressors of life again can make a person, you know, drink more than necessary. Demands of life and things like that are other issues that may affect somebody.
And that's why it's also very important, even when human resource comes in, they are trying as much as they can to help the people who are approaching retirement. They are having them get empowered.
Yes.
They are getting them into sessions so that they understand there's a time very soon when you will no longer be at this position. I remember a case, an institution where we offer our services, and we're being told of a man who went to an extent of chopping his finger off so that he can be classified as disabled. And you know what? There's no evidence, but people know what he did to himself. And indeed, he was classified and his retirement age was increased, I think, to 65. But you see, that's how scared the elderly feel.
Yes.
Like, I've had a meaningful life, and now where am I going?
Exactly.
If there was no work-life balance. So when you say, when you share what you have just highlighted about loss, many people are not able to cope with the loss, even of a job, of a career, and
of identity,
and they end up into a substance use that ends up into a dependence, and they find themselves at your place. I'm just imagining that.
And also at that age, at the elderly age, then the manifestations, how substance use disorder will manifest. There will be more other health issues.
Yes.
If you have diabetes and you're still using something, then that manifests in a different way. If you have hypertension and you're still drinking, that also then becomes a problem. Sometimes could be other non-communicable diseases, even like HIV, epilepsy, and things like that. Also at that time you have responsibilities, and maybe you're supposed to be taking your children to school, but you're using your retirement age money or your pension on this. So those things are also more amplified, and the people around you can see when you're veering off more.
And so even as we are having this conversation, what is coming up to my mind is when you talked about gender specific. And I do know you've also attended special trainings and sessions for women. What is so different about women that you also need this specific kind of training to be able to take them through treatment or equip them adequately during that journey?
So one of the things, and why we started Empower Her Recovery Center, I've been in the addiction space for a very long time. I started off working in the harm reduction world, working with substance use users, more importantly, injecting drug users. And at that time, still, we were focusing on women differently, because women who were using, what they call the hard drugs in the streets, they are more affected, in other ways than segregating male only and doing female only.
To speak, just let me cut you short a little. What about cross addiction? The segregation also, because you must have gotten a case or two, or it happens.
Yes.
That yes, I've stopped using the substance. I'm in this inpatient treatment. But then there's also blossoming love that happens.
So all those things happen because when you're in active addiction, really, all these things, it doesn't mean even when you come to recovery, some of your biological needs
stop working.
No. And when you also go to recovery, is also the body is jump started in many other ways.
Yes.
And so one of the things that women are really who are in addiction is issues of intimate partner violence. And that can also happen in a mixed setting.
Yes.
Because people are, there is the attraction, and if you do this for me, if you wash my clothes, I'm gonna make sure if I get meat, I'm gonna give you the portion, or something like that. So they can be, it can affect the counselor creating a therapeutic relationship with the client, because there are a lot of distractions, and that is why I give them a safe space. For us was very important. Secondly, also the issues of gender-specific approach in terms of women are not only recovering from
a substance.
There are many other things you are recovering from, and when we are together, then because you'll find women who have been denied custody of their children.
Oh yes,
because they are drinking, and when you go to court, maybe you forgot it's a court date. You miss 2 or 3 court dates, and the judge decides you're not fit to be a mom, and that can even drive you deeper into where you are. For women who, you came to work late, on a Monday, or you're dozing off on your desk, and you have a male boss, and you know all these things go around, and so you lose your job fast. If it's a business, the same thing, you might be taken advantage of, and all these things. So when you sit with them together, then those intimate discussions that you're having with women, you may not be able to have them when the other gender is in the room. So it's very important that when women sit together, including now when we are doing we are bringing them together. Maybe you have not seen your children and you are trying to make the amendments. You have not talked to your husband for a very long time. You are trying to make the amendments. You have not talked to your mom and your dad. So give them that space. So to be able to even, I have seen women who have not seen their children for 6 years because they have been taken away by their relatives. When they come to the rehab, it's such an emotional encounter. And so this person will also be left drained, and you don't want to expose her into a space where she will, all these raw wounds that have been opened are being left, you know.
You've spoken like that, and what came to my mind immediately was, how does family therapy look like? Because like you're talking about a woman who has been denied custody, and then all of a sudden, because everyone knows that she's in recovery, she's gone for treatment, they are willing, during family therapy, they are willing, okay, let's go in and see mom. Do you find those sessions very emotional? Can you remember one or two cases where maybe the woman had been in isolation for so long, and then there was a reunion of some sort because she came for treatment?
Wow, thank you for asking that, because for me, you know, we have a parallel and we have something to compare with. We have Nueva Esperanza and Membly to compare with what you are doing at Empower Her, even to compare how the family therapies happen on this side and how family therapies are happening on the other side. And as you have put it, for me, one of the things that has happened to me is that, you know, it's a beautiful thing to cater for women, but it can also be very emotionally draining. Because some of the stories you hear are very intense. They are very sad, and they make you feel in some type of way. So even for staff, we have increased our own supervision, and we are very deliberate to see how far we can go and things like that. We are seeing many of the women who are coming to our center are coming from families that, you know, some of them, not all of them, they are coming from families that what we call dysfunctional. And most of the time, if something has gone wrong at home and you are the person with a substance use disorder, then you'll always be blamed. You know, what we call the black sheep. So even as you're coming, people the next talking will always have their doubts. Will this person never change? They have costed us so much. They have put so much shame in the family. We have invested in so much. We took them to the best universities, even bought a plane ticket and then took them to the universities abroad. He was married into a good she was married into a good family, but because of her drinking, she was, you know, she's divorced or separated.
She has thrown it all away.
She has thrown it all away, and all she cares is about substance use and going out there and doing the other things that we are labeled to do when you are drinking. And so the family therapy is what we do first, and they are very important. And we work with the families. We actually do a couple of 3 to 4 maximum within the 90 days. Psychoeducation. We have to be the client's advocate. We have to really educate the families. What is addiction? What is substance use disorder? And how does it affect this person? And why are they behaving like that? We have to really also see what is their role. Remember, we talk about addiction as a family disease. Yes, one person may be using, but the other family. Sometimes it's also coming from the family. These people learned these behaviors from home. Or even some of the family members may have some issues. It's only that they have not reached dependency. And how do we support this person? Some of it is that even the issues of inheritance play a big role. Issues of favorism, you like her because, you know, all those things come into them onto the table when you're doing family therapy. can be very intense. But when you're professionals and you have been trained, you asked me before if you've been trained on how to handle women with past traumatic experiences, then you are able to, you know, put the issues on the table. You can do it maybe with a dad alone,
Yes.
with a mom alone, or family, you educate them alone even without the patient. But more importantly for us is to empower this client. What is your role in all this? Where do you come from? What are the issues? How are you going to heal from this? And how are you going to bring peace and healing at home? And we have seen that work in very magical ways, and we thank God because our clients, you know, are giving powerful testimonies of families that were not even, people who are not sitting together to speak. We are seeing them coming together to speak for the first time. We are seeing people really having conversations that are meaningful for the first time when we bring them together.
Wow. You know, I'm just thinking about the many things women go through. And, you know, women carry a lot of burdens, but I'm happy that they can come and get empowered at your center. What would you tell anyone who's watching here now and maybe they have a mom or a daughter or any female who's close to them and they're using and they don't know how to intervene and tell them they have a problem? What would you advise anyone who's watching you now?
One would say addiction or substance use does discriminate between men and women. In any case, women are more affected. The negative consequences, when we talk about the negative consequences, they affect women more than men. And so we should look them with eyes of compassion, with a lot of kindness, and with a lot of love. The good thing, there is hope. There is hope in recovery. And we have seen women hope. We have a lot of testimonials. What we also do at the center, every month, every 2 weeks, we are bringing someone to give a testimony, to talk to the ladies who are there, people who have been in recovery for over 20 years, people who have been in recovery for 2 years, also to empower them and to tell them how it is done. We have partnered with the Alcoholic Anonymous, and they are sending us guest speakers. So we alternate between people who are coming to give their recovery stories, lived experiences with the people from Alcoholic Anonymous or Narcotic Anonymous, and really have seen the impact that is that a recovered woman is doing in the society. Women are leaving our center, going back to their families healed, and a healed woman also heals her family. You know, because women we are naturally we are caregivers
and nurturers,
we are loving, and even when you're not able to be there for your children, it hurts, to be honest, if you're not able to provide for them or be there for them in a way that you're not able. So I'd say bring your girls to us, bring your moms to us, bring your daughters to us. We are giving them a life-changing experience that really and remember, recovery is a journey. Recovery is a journey, a day at a time, like we always talk about it. But also the society, the family has a big role to play to help somebody in their recovery.
Where can they find you? Just let us know where you're located, if you have contact details, if you're on social media, so that anyone who's looking for a center for a woman or a mom or what we're talking about today, they can easily reach out to you.
So again, Empower Her Recovery Center, the only residential female rehab in Kenya, is situated in Githunguri constituency, a place called Ngewa, Kiambu County. Our website is ngewarehab.com or empowerrecoverycenter.com. We are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and our phone number is 0780 659743.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, even as we conclude, man, a lot has gone through my mind. I'm just thinking, a woman who is alcohol dependent, you know, it's just taken me back to so many things that happened when I was in active addiction, and so many people suffer. You know, like you said, a woman is a helper in the home, yet she's also a foundation. some sort of stability.
She's the glue. She's the glue.
Thank you. That's the word. So if you want your family to be glued back together, and you know, a woman who is struggling with a substance use disorder or a mental health condition, you know, we've heard it from Esther Mucara that you can visit Empower Her Recovery Center, and they empower, you know, what I love about what you said is they are the advocate of the woman, the advocate of the client when you visit the center, because as they go through the recovery journey, and they, in fact, you stand, because you're seeing the progress, you're able to kumtetea, you know, to advocate for her, because the people who she's surrounded by, or the ones even who brought her there, could be the ones who were part of the cause of her getting into that state. So we're advocating for those who are not in the 100% element is what I've picked up from this conversation. That there is help, that there is hope, and that you need not suffer. Women more than men do suffer the consequences, the negative ones, and your life can change. Your life can change. You just need to seek for help. It was so good to have this conversation with you because you are running such a center. I can imagine the many women who have who are praying for you. No?
Thank you.
Because they came, and the children who are praying, and the husbands.
And their daughters.
And their daughters, and all the beneficiaries, because humans are not in isolation. They come from somewhere. And I know there are people who are praying. That's the best way I can say. There are many people who are praying because they have their loved ones free from the shackles of addiction and are walking strong and are reclaiming their lives. I look forward to engaging with you even in the future. And what I can say is just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
What I'm posing to government is, if there's only one female residential facility in this nation, there's many questions marks. In fact, what it is calling for is more attention to this area. More attention, more resources perhaps, more advocacy, amplified voices, because women, unlike men, women will most likely not come looking for the help.
We are really also asking to have partners on board to support these women. Of course, starting with the government. Because as I said before, the issue of resources, women seeking treatment and more for substance use disorders, it has become difficult. We have even seen women having difficulties going for maternity care. It is expensive. Now you can imagine how difficult it is for women to go for substance use disorder treatment. So if all the ministries that are involved would really look at the women, then we put some resources to bring them on board, because really the issues of resources, NGOs that are also working with women in health, mental health, sexual reproductive health, we're also looking for to bring those partners on board, people who are doing advocacy, community education. We'd like to see doing more community mobilization, community empowerment, doing social work, so that we bring awareness to the people, to women, even in their villages, at their homes, at their workplaces, and amplify the voice that a woman can recover too.
That's true. I want to leave you with a picture. It may not be so comfortable, but I just thought of a woman with a mental health challenge. The ones, we never miss that woman in any community, but they have many children. Meaning there are men who are taking advantage of them in that situation. I think that's how I'll end this conversation, because it shows how vulnerable women are when they have mental health challenges and when they are substance use dependent or have a substance use disorder. And it's just to encourage you that there is help, there are solutions. And until next time,